Strange happenings in heaven. After Lucifer had set himself up as a rebel leader against God and his laws, the former peace and joy of heaven were gone. Instead of music and singing, there were heard words of disagreement and even weeping. The trumpeters could not practice together anymore because some of them were rebels and some of them were loyal. They could not agree on who was right, God or Lucifer. So it was with the harp players and with the singers. What a state of chaos the peace of heaven had been changed into. Everything in heaven was spoiled. The singing, the playing, the studying, the working together. Simply everything was completely spoiled for everybody in heaven, from the least angel clear up to God himself. For all except one, that is, the only satisfied one was Lucifer. The more trouble he could keep going, the better it suited his plans. More than that, all the pleasant friendship was destroyed. Up until now, all the angels loved and trusted one another. But now, many close friends were on opposite sides of the controversy. No one knew whom to trust anymore. The very worst of all was that the followers of Lucifer had turned against God, the great eternal God who had made them with his own hands and loved them, his own children. When they believed Lucifer, it was the same as believing that God was not truthful. Oh, what a black, evil stew Lucifer had stirred up. He even tried to blame God for all the trouble he himself had started. Let us imagine we can listen in on some of the things that might have gone on. First thing, of course, Lucifer probably called together the leading angels who had come right out to be on his side. They had already made up their minds, and he did not have to lose any time persuading them to see things his way. Well, we got off to a wonderful start in our big meeting, didn't we? Lucifer gloated, rubbing his hands together with pleased satisfaction. Yes, indeed, agreed his henchman enthusiastically. You put that over in grand style, Lucifer. We are certainly proud of you. We'll be glad to help your cause. Now I'm glad to hear you say that, for it is just the reason I called you in. We must get right down to business and not lose any time, or some of our prospects may change their minds. The main thing is to keep things stirred up so that they won't decide this is just a flash in the pan affair. Nobody wants to join a movement that appears to fizzle out. Everybody wants to belong to an up-and-coming concern. Lucifer spoke rapidly and with such self-assurance. His followers smiled at each other with approving glances as if to say, My, he really knows what he's talking about. This is going to be a great business. Now you, and Lucifer pointed a finger at one who had always been a prominent leader among the heavenly hosts, I want you to be the chief organizer. You are to plan meetings and to see that my orders are carried out. And you, he indicated another one, you are gifted with eloquence. You may be the chief speaker. Some of you others have unusually pleasing manners. You may talk in private to those of your listeners who don't want to make a decision in public. Many can be persuaded to join us by talking to them alone. So Lucifer, no doubt, went down the line, issuing orders, assigning jobs, and giving advice. And now, he finally concluded, are there any questions? The angels looked at each other as if there was something they hesitated to mention. Lucifer regarded them with questioning eyebrows. Well, what is it? He rasped impatiently. Finally, the lead angel stood up respectfully. We are sorry about this, sir, but there is one question they keep asking us. He paused, seeming half ashamed, and we don't just know how to answer it. Go on, Lucifer snapped. What is the question? Well, sir, it is this. Whenever we try to tell them how much better things will be under your new government, they point out that there has been nothing but trouble since you started your campaign. And they say, if this is a sample of conditions in your proposed new kingdom, they don't want any part of it. The angel swallowed hard and then went on. We have to admit it is true. We never knew what trouble meant until you started this campaign. So what can we say? We simply do not have an answer. He spread the palms of his hands with a helpless shrug and sat down. Lucifer leaned back with a conceited smirk on his face. Ha! That's an easy one, he drawled. Then he sat up and held his head high and haughty. When they say that, you just ask them under whose government they're having all this trouble. Remind them that this is God's government, and it simply had to end up this way. Because, I tell you, his laws are not right or fair. And that is exactly why I'm trying to improve things. I want to set up a government where trouble like this can't happen. Don't you see? Of course we see, they chorused in pleased surprise. Why didn't we think of that ourselves? Oh, Lucifer, we are so fortunate to have you for our leader. You are the wisest being there is. Then they probably chuckled in glee as they imagined the surprised look on the faces of loyal angels when they gave these clever answers. And another thing Lucifer pointed out, ask them why God doesn't do something to help them out. If he is all powerful, why doesn't he come down and stop us? I say he is afraid. That is why. He sees how powerful I am with so many on my side. That ought to convince them, don't you think? Let's see how they will try to explain that. With that, Lucifer threw back his head and laughed such a loud, hideous laugh that even his admirers shuddered a bit to hear it. Then Lucifer leaned forward and half whispered confidentially, when we have conquered all of heaven, I intend to go out and capture all the worlds too. They will be easy once I have all the angels on my side. His listeners were overcome with delight at the prospect. Lucifer seemed even more wonderful than they had dreamed. Why, he would be ruler not only in heaven, but over the whole great universe, and would be the highest in his kingdom. Be on your way now, he ordered, and start your work with the angels so that we can make our dreams come true. They hurried out with evil chatter to do the work of the enemy of God. Margie drew a long breath when the story was ended. How terrible, she exclaimed. I never dreamed heaven was ever like that. But didn't the good angels do a thing about what was going on? Oh, yes, indeed, they did, responded Aunt Trudy. They were just as busy as the rebel angels. That is what caused all the stir. I'll tell you about that next time. But why didn't God do something about things? Asked Dick. Well, God was watching everything from his throne. He had his reasons for not interfering at this time. We shall find out what he did when the right time came.